Hi, I'm Sarah from Toby Bananas. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about intermittent fasting, something that I've been doing for a little while now. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and also a little bit about how I got to this point. So, very quickly, take you back to the beginning. I have been on a diet on and off for like my whole adult life, really. When I was about 17, I actually lost quite a lot of weight by only eating one meal a day. I used to skip breakfast, I would skip lunch, and then in the evening I would eat whatever my mum had made for dinner. I did drink a lot of Pepsi Max, which I've since found out is not ideal. But what I was doing then was basically intermittent fasting. But at the time, I thought I was doing something really unhealthy. I hid it from my parents. I thought I was kind of on the verge of an eating disorder. But actually, what I know now is that I was doing something that was really good for my body. So, fast forward from there, I went to university, started drinking beer, put on weight, left university, worked in France for quite a long time. As you can imagine, ate lots of lovely pain au chocolat and things like that. Although I had quite an active job, so weight-wise wasn't too bad. But then I left there, I went to live in Scotland. I was quite fit for a bit, used to go to the gym quite a lot. But my weight kind of went up and down. I was single, lived by myself, used to eat lots of chocolate and ice cream and all sorts of things. And my weight kind of went up and down, but I got to a point, and I think it was about 2009, where I was about 3 stone overweight. I had had enough, I was miserable, and I decided to do a meal replacement diet. So I did Lighter Life, which I'd never done anything like that before, but it was really good. It worked. I did it for about a year on and off. I kind of had breaks and then went back to it. But I lost 3 stone, and I got down to, I just turned 32, and I was like really happy with my weight. And then I met my future husband, which was lovely. But we spent 6 months travelling backwards and forwards between Manchester and Scotland, and there was a lot of drinking and takeaways and eating out. So weight kind of started creeping up again. But then we got engaged. So as a lot of women do, I lost weight again for the wedding. And then we went on our honeymoon to America. We went on a 3-week road trip around the east coast of America. We went to a lot of the places from the program Man vs. Food, if you've ever seen it, so you can imagine. I think I put on like a stone in 3 weeks or something. And then, not long after we got back from our honeymoon, I got pregnant. And during that pregnancy, I think I put on 4.5 stone or something like that. For the first time for like in my whole adult life, really, I gave myself permission to eat whatever I wanted without feeling guilty. And then obviously had a baby. I did lose pretty much all the baby weight. Got back to the weight I was before I was pregnant over the next year, and then got pregnant again. So the second time I didn't put on quite so much weight, to be honest. But here I am. Gabe is 2.5. I was still last year at my birthday, so Gabe was nearly 2. I just turned 39, and I was like 3 stone overweight again. And I got to a point where I really needed to do something. So I did another meal replacement diet called Shake That Weight. And there's a couple of videos about it on my channel. I'll put them up there, wherever they go. And again, meal replacement diets, I'm not knocking them. They do work if you want to lose weight quickly, but they're not sustainable. You can't keep doing them forever. So we got to about October, November last year. I'd lost 2 stone, more or less. And I decided that I couldn't really keep up the meal replacement thing anymore. And so I'd heard a little bit about intermittent fasting and about a way of eating, a protocol, I suppose you could call it, if you're being fancy, which is called 16-8. So you don't eat for 16 hours a day, and then you eat during an 8-hour window. And you can eat whatever you want, really, is the theory. So it sounds like a long time, 16 hours of not eating, but basically it just means skipping breakfast. That's all there is to it, because you don't eat overnight. If you snack a lot in the evening, then you probably need to try and cut that out. And then that's it. Skip your breakfast, or even just have a late breakfast. Have your breakfast at like 10 or 11 o'clock if you want. It's important that when you are fasting, you only have tea, coffee, but black, or plain water. No diet drinks, no sweeteners. And the reason for that is the way fasting works, although you might restrict calories a little bit because you're eating in a short amount of time and you probably just can't fit as much in, the main reason that fasting works to help you lose weight and all sorts of other health benefits as well is to do with insulin. And we've probably all heard of insulin when we're talking about diabetes, but insulin is a fat storage hormone. It's what causes you to gain fat, to store fat. And if you eat constantly, your insulin levels never drop and you become insulin resistant, and then your body produces more insulin. And if you're eating all through the day, your body is just running on that food that you're eating. It's running on the glucose from the food, it's running on glucose from your blood, and then once it's used that up, it starts using glycogen, which is stored glucose from your liver, and only when it's got rid of all that will it then start accessing your fat and using fat for fuel. So by fasting, it allows your insulin levels to drop. It can help cure insulin resistance, so it can help cure or sort of get rid of type 2 diabetes. Not type 1, that's a totally different thing, and I'm not talking about that here, but it lets your insulin levels drop, and therefore it allows you to use your other sources of fuel first, and then it will allow you to access your fat and use your fat stores for fuel. So if you have Diet Coke, for example, then although there's no calories in Diet Coke, it's sweet, and sweet foods produce an insulin response. So your insulin's going to spike anyway, even though you've not had any calories, and that sort of defeats the object of the whole thing. So I started off before Christmas not eating breakfast, and that was pretty much it. And I didn't really lose any weight, but I didn't put any on either. And for me, that's quite a big thing, because my normal way of eating when I'm not on a diet, I generally do put weight on over time. So to not put any weight on was great. Then obviously Christmas came and the holidays and everything else, and I stopped following that, and I was eating breakfast, and I was eating obviously all the Christmas food and Christmas chocolates and everything else, and I put on about 6 pounds over Christmas. So come New Year, I didn't start on January the 1st because I don't agree with like, oh, it's the 1st of January, I'm going to do a new thing. I think I started about the 4th of January. I started off skipping breakfast again and making sure I was having a clean fast. So up until that point, I had been having sweeteners in my tea, but I stopped. Having read more about it and found out more about it, I stopped doing that, and I started skipping breakfast and then having lunch, and then I started pushing that lunch a little bit later every day. So I was eating my lunch at maybe 2:30, and over the last 4 weeks, I have lost the 6 pounds that I put on over Christmas, and I think another pound as well. I'm feeling much better. I've lost a couple of inches as well from my waist and hips and bust and everything else, which is brilliant. And I now usually follow something which is called OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. So I break my fast between usually about 3.5, 4, but I just have a snack. Something like some cheese, maybe hummus and cucumber and carrots and things like that, or maybe a bit of Philadelphia on a cracker bread or something. And then I eat my dinner in the evening. I sometimes have dessert, and then that's it. And then I don't eat again until the following day. But the beauty of this is you can really genuinely eat whatever you want. So sometimes I break my fast with cake if we're out somewhere. On Saturday we went out and met my brother and sister-in-law. I had cake in the after, like at 3:30, and then we went to Pizza Hut, and then I came home and had ice cream. Now obviously if you did that every day, you're not going to lose weight. but once in a while it's fine, and I am a pound lighter than I was on Friday, so it does work. So that's what I'm doing. And the beauty of intermittent fasting is that it is so flexible. You can choose when you want to eat. You can choose as long as, I think after 16 hours is when you start getting the benefits. So you need to fast for at least 16 hours. If you want to fast for longer than that, then the benefits just start increasing, but you don't have to. You can eat in the morning if you prefer. You could eat later into the evening. It's really up to you, and you can switch it about if you're going out for a meal and you want to change it to later in the day, or if you're meeting friends for lunch and you want to do it then that's great. You can. It's really flexible and it's sustainable. Once I reach the weight that I want to be, I'll probably extend my eating window again, so go back to more like 16:8 again. And I can see myself doing that for the rest of my life. I'm not that bothered about having breakfast. If it's some sort of special occasion, then I can anyway. And if I can maintain my weight by doing that and still eating whatever I want, then that is just brilliant. The last thing as well, so intermittent fasting is not only great for weight loss, it's got loads of other health benefits as well. I've already mentioned type 2 diabetes, which it can help to get rid of. It also, when you're fasting, a process starts happening which is called, now I don't really know how to pronounce this, I should have probably found out before I did this video, autophagy, I think. And it's the process of your cells clearing themselves out, and they don't normally get to do it because your body's too busy using its energy for digestion or for sort of regulating hormones and things like that. But because you're in a fasted state, it's got nothing else to do, basically. So it starts clearing out all the sort of debris out of your cells that you don't need anymore. And that debris that accumulates in cells is the thing that causes cancer. It can cause or lead to Alzheimer's. It can shorten your life. So by doing intermittent fasting, you can there's just so many brilliant things. The other thing that autophagy can do is help to shrink your skin. So you always see these programs, like I used to be a big fan of The Biggest Loser, and they would lose loads of weight, but they would have so much excess skin, and they'd end up having to have surgery to remove it and all that kind of thing. The beauty of this, autophagy can actually reduce that skin as you lose weight, so you don't even end up with the excess weight. So I'm going to stop there because I've kind of gone on for quite a while, but I'm going to be coming back with some more videos about intermittent fasting, how I'm getting on. If you want to find out a bit more about it for yourself, then I read 2 great books recently. One called Delay, Don't Deny. I'll put a link to that down below. And another one which is called The Obesity Code. So Delay, Don't Deny, it's written by a teacher from America, but she has done lots and lots of research. So it's sort of simplified, it's easy to follow, it's easy to understand. She makes total sense of all the science. If you want to know a bit more about the science and exactly how this works and why all those other diets that you've ever done don't work or work in the short term and then you end up putting the weight back on, then the Obesity Code is great as well. Like I say, it's a bit more in depth. There's more, explains more of the science behind it. So I would definitely recommend that you read those books. I also have a Facebook group, which is for intermittent fasting support. I'll pop the link to that as well down below, so if you would like to join, then please feel free. And I think that's it. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it the thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Like I say, I'll be coming back regularly with more videos about intermittent fasting and how I'm getting on. And thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.